I sent my mom this photo of me. She said, "I love seeing you like that. Happy. I can't wait to spend time with you." I sent my dad the exact same photo, just to show you the difference between a mother and a father. Cold. That's it.
Okay, I know that the point of this video is to make men look dumb and simple, like we're bad at communicating or whatever. But man, I feel a kinship with that dad. I loved his response. I feel like proud. I'm like, yes, that's my gender. Because I'm like a lot of men. If I get messages like that, I don't know what's expected of me. How are you meant to respond? It's just a picture of herself. There's no explanation. As a man, if you contact me, it's because there's something that you need to tell me. There's important information that you want to impart. There's a question that you want to ask. You need some help or you're organizing some event. There's always meant to be some explicit purpose to the conversation. So if you send me just like a random no context photo, I don't know what you expect from me as a response. And I'm not against sending messages just as a way of connecting. Like if she sent that photo and she's like, "Hey, just thinking of you, dad, missing you, looking forward to spending time with you again. Like here's a photo of me that I thought was cute." Like all of that's fine. Like I'm happy to connect if that's what I know is going on. But just this no context photo, like this mum's response, I could never see myself being that enthusiastic and giving so much after having received so little. I guess that's what the daughter wanted as a response, but how are we meant to know that? We're not mind readers. Is it unreasonable to expect women to just make a little bit of effort to understand the male brain and how we do things? And given how accommodating men constantly are to women, is it unreasonable to ask for like a little bit of reciprocity, that women adjust themselves a little bit to suit us? I'm so tired of the narrative that's pushed by like mainstream feminism that because men are not women, then there's something deficient about us. And if we were more evolved as men, we do things the way that women do. It's such a childish view of the world. Men and women are different. We have our own unique strengths. Can't we appreciate that instead of shaming it? It's so exhausting to constantly listen to this narrative that men are not as emotionally evolved as women just because we do things differently.
Dan, tell everyone what you just told me.
I said my old roommate Brian and his fiance broke off their engagement.
Okay, so Brian broke off his engagement. When?
Recently, I guess. I mean, he told me pretty recently.
And how did this happen?
I don't know how it happened, honestly. We didn't really get that deep into it.
Is there another girl? Was there another person involved? Like, they just randomly broke up?
I don't think there's another person, but I know he mentioned something about cheating.
Someone cheated.
I guess.
Who cheated?
I don't know,
How do you not ask? Was he upset? Did he cry?
He didn't, I don't know.
Had they spoken since? Did she give the ring back?
No.
Does his family know? What are they doing about the save the dates? What they do with the deposit?
I don't know. We just were playing golf. We didn't really get deep into the conversation.
How do you not ask these questions?
I don't know.
Is there like the juicy details you need, Dan?
I don't know. I didn't know what to do.
So you just sit there and you say, "Oh, okay, yeah, you broke off your engagement, that's it," and then play golf?
Yeah, the golf was fun.
What is wrong with you guys?
Nothing. It was a fun time.
I mean, usually the female superiority is just implied, but at the end, she actually said it explicitly. Like, what is wrong with you guys? The answer is nothing. There's nothing wrong with men. We're just not women. And to be clear, I'm in favor of men opening up to each other if that's what's right for them. It's why I started the Hero Circle, the men's discussion groups. But men are always going to approach this stuff differently than women do, and there's a strength in that. So please, ladies, can you dial down the smug condescension? Women assume because they're talking all the time and they share lots of details, therefore they care more about their friends than men do. Women always present their desire for information about the personal lives of their friends as evidence of moral superiority. But that's not justified because often women's motives are actually pretty dark. If you can convince a woman to be actually honest, she will admit that there is a part of her that actually takes pleasure in seeing her friends in pain.
I love when girls break up with their boyfriend. Thank you. Yes! Yes!
I'm going to tell you something that you've never been told before, because women are not likely to admit this to themselves, let alone admit it to a man. But what looks like empathy on the surface from women towards their friends is usually a cover for one of these three dark motives: emotional voyeurism, control, and competition. Understanding each of these is essential to understanding the female mind. I'm going to go into each of these in detail, but first, let's talk about a different competition that every man faces. The battle against the enemy that never retreats. Aging. It shows up in your metabolism, your hairline, and of course, your skin. But what if you're not ready to surrender? You still want healthy, youthful looking skin into middle age and beyond. Well, luckily, that's where the sponsor of today's video, Tiege Hanley, comes to the rescue. Tiege Hanley is a skincare company specifically designed for men. These guys know what men want. An effective product you can use with minimal effort. Their level 1 essential routine makes skincare so easy. You've got your AM cream, your PM cream, your facial scrub, and your daily moisturizer. And it all comes with an instruction card that tells you how much to apply of which cream and at what time of the day. They've made things so simple, and if you live in the US, they're even going to ship it directly to your door for free. Men love this product. There's a reason they have over 16,000 5-star reviews, and they're so confident that you're going to love it that they offer their handsome guarantee, which means if you don't love it, you get a full refund. No questions asked. And since Tiege Hanley are sponsoring this video, they're offering my viewers an incredible deal. When you sign up, you're not only going to get 40% off your first box, but you're also going to get a free gift worth $20. And if you sign up as a member, you'll get an additional 20% off for life. Skincare is the easiest thing that you can do to maintain and improve your appearance. So get onto it. Check out Tiege Hanley. Okay, back to the video and the 3 reasons why women love to hear the personal details about their friends' lives, the darker motives that they'll never admit. Let's start with this one: emotional voyeurism. Let's be real, when a woman is asking her female friend for all of the juicy details and gossip about the infidelity, the breakup, the divorce, she's not just asking questions out of concern, she is drawn in by the emotional spectacle of it all. It might look like empathy, but that's just thinly disguised curiosity. Women get an emotional thrill out of seeing somebody else's life unravel, especially because they're watching from a safe distance. In this way, other people's emotional breakdowns serve as a source of entertainment. It's like a real-life soap opera. Women can become addicted to that. She seeks it out because it gives her this emotional thrill without her personally having to risk anything. For you as a man, it would probably feel stressful, but for her, it's thrilling. It gives a charge to her nervous system, like a shot of adrenaline. It's the exact same biological mechanism that explains women doom scrolling on social media or seeking out reality TV. She gets hooked on the brain chemicals that this emotional experience gets her, and so she seeks out friends with problematic lives, not because she's interested in helping them or solving their problems. It's because she likes to live emotionally and vicariously through them. So she's asking, did your friend cry? But why is she asking? Does she really want to know? Does she actually care? Or does she want to use his emotions to facilitate her own emotional catharsis and relief? Women frame it as though they ask these details because they're so caring, but it's actually just voyeuristic and kind of dehumanizing because people's personal pain just becomes like content for her to consume. Each new update she gets on the relationship is like an episode in a drama. It becomes a serialized narrative that she consumes just for stimulation. Now, men don't typically do this. We're not addicted to our own emotions, and so if a friend is struggling, we're not likely to respond to him with interrogation and like, tell me all of the details. The way that men respond and show up for other men is with presence. If one of your male friends' relationships falls apart, the instinct as his buddy isn't necessarily to just dive into all of the drama. It's to show up, to just be there without making it a spectacle. In male friendships, emotional boundaries are respected by default. We don't pry, we are wired to wait. We watch for a cue, a signal, a sign, some invitation that says that the guy wants to go deeper. Until then, we show up and we kind of hold the space for him and we support him through action. You know, we go and drink some beers, we go and play a round of golf. Just like this guy, he's not a bad friend, he's not an emotional simpleton, he's doing what men do, supporting his friend in the way that men do. I remember years ago, one of my close male friends got cheated on. It was brutal because it was a long relationship. We all thought they were going to be together forever. But as soon as we heard what had happened, We just turned up at his house. We brought some drinks, we brought some board games. If he wanted to talk, he knew that he could, but if he didn't want to, that was fine too. What mattered was that he wasn't going to be alone. I had another friend and he broke off his engagement. Emotionally, it was a devastating time for him, and it was obvious what I needed to do. I had planned a trip and I invited him along. We spent like 5 days together. And this is what male support looks like. There's no pressure. There's no emotional extraction, just a dignified, quiet solidarity that's ready to talk if and when he is. Women pretend that men don't care or that we're clueless, but that's not it. We just respect our friends enough to not rush into their pain unless we get an explicit invitation. Which brings us to the second dark motive that many women have but will never admit to, which is about control of information, because if she knows all of the facts and details, she can use that to exert control over her social environment. Understand, in female social environments, information is power. The person who knows the most, who has the inside story, that is the person who holds narrative authority. She becomes the unofficial storyteller and can shape how other people interpret the events. It's a powerful position, and women are not blind to that. She wants information because it's going to expand her influence. She's trying to gather as many details as she can, because the more details that she has, the more power she has to frame the story. Who's the villain? Who's the victim? What the moral or the lesson of the breakup is. She can use this subtle shaping of the narrative to sway social perception in her chosen direction. From that perspective, you understand she's not gathering details as an expression of her empathy. She wants to own the narrative, make it her property. That way, when she's retelling the story, she can chime in at her own chosen parts to offer like her own insightful commentary, her own twist and perspective on things. She can position herself as the emotionally intelligent one to all of her friends. In that way, information becomes a resource that she can deploy anytime she wants as a status move. A lot of men don't really understand why women like gossip, like what's so fascinating about that. But do you see, starting from like their teenage years and all through adulthood, women use gossip as a way to kind of experiment with power. You might find gossip boring as a man, but we can all agree as humans, power and power dynamics are endlessly fascinating. And so if a woman knows something that others don't, then she has a lot of power. She can selectively choose who can be trusted to know this information and which details. She's the one who is in possession of something that others want, and she enjoys that status. This is different from men because in male hierarchies, who has power is usually decided by overt competition, but for women, it's more relational. It's about social alliances and moral positioning and emotional credibility. Women find it intoxicating because it's such an easy way to boost your own status and increase your power. You don't have to have done anything particularly special or noteworthy. You just have to be in the know. And so you've got women reading like gossip magazines about celebrities, trying to gain as much detail as possible, because if that topic ever comes up amongst their group of female friends, they want to be the one with the most details because that's going to give them the most power in that conversational dynamic to be able to shape that narrative and how it's interpreted. It wouldn't surprise me if what I'm saying is just going over the heads of most of my audience is like, Alexander, I'm going to click out of this video. I don't understand what you're talking about. Like this, none of this makes sense. I know. Of course it doesn't. You're a man. You don't think like this. But just stay with me. You've come to this channel because you want to know more about how women think. And that's what we're exploring. I understand as a man, the idea of your status or your power increasing because you hold emotional secrets that your other male friends don't know, that seems moronic. Like that doesn't make any sense. As a man, you build up credibility in your social circle by being reliable and consistent and trustworthy. There's no social value that you gain by being the storyteller of somebody else's pain. But that's not how women work. We're operating under a different set of guidelines. And it has a huge impact on how our psychology unfolds. Because as a man, if you were selectively sharing details and trying to shape the narrative, men would become suspicious of you. Because you'd be seen to be untrustworthy, disloyal, like not manly or masculine. If you hold sensitive information about a friend, you know that the most powerful thing that you can do is be a stand-up guy and to guard that knowledge. But you have to understand, for women, it's different. There is a temptation that you are not really exposed to, which is that in female friendships, there is more power to be extracted from that piece of information by sharing it. Maybe not all of it, and maybe not to everybody, but being selective about it, that's a way that you can use to enhance yourself. Which brings us to the last motive that I want to talk about, which is competition. Frankly, it is a lot easier to be a man in competition with other men. It's quite clean and straightforward. I do not envy women. Their competition with their female friends is very messy, very confusing.
Story time! My friend just got cheated on and none of us give a fuck. None of us give a flying fuck. She's on the floor, she's rolling, she's screaming, she's crying. She's being like, guys, I can't believe he would do this to me. I cannot believe he would do this to me. We're all sitting there like, you're a stupid bitch. Like, none of us are sympathizing with her. We're all like, we don't know why you're crying. She got with this guy. He had a girlfriend. He cheated on his girlfriend with her. Her whole thing was like, I'm prettier than the ex-girlfriend. I'm prettier than the ex-girlfriend. None of us have any sympathy for her.
You might want to rewatch that, like just rewind, because I want you to pick up just how much glee, like just joy there was in that woman's voice. And I understand it's because she thinks her friend was ignorant or naive or maybe didn't have any integrity. But let me ask you this. If one of your male friends showed a lack of integrity, would you be happy and joyful at seeing consequences come to him? I don't know about you, but if I see one of my fellow men do something that lacks integrity, something dishonest, I feel sad, or maybe I feel contempt or a bit of disgust or something like that. But you understand, it doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me excited. But with women, you see this smug, like almost celebratory energy. Why is that? What is going on in the female mind? To understand this, you need to know this about female psychology, which is that a friend is also a competitor. You may have heard the pop culture term frenemies. Yeah, that's a woman thing. Women have frenemies. As a man, I can't be fucked to hang out with some guy who's my enemy. But for women, there's this weird payoff that they get. You see, female social dynamics are not just about bonding. They're also about comparison and competition. And so when one of your friends has a failed relationship, it's interpreted as a bit of a victory for all of her female friends. It enhances her status. Oh, she has a failed relationship, but I don't. Mine is still secure. Women will use the tragic personal details of their friends' lives as a way of psychologically soothing themselves. But it's complex, you see, because I'm not saying that she hates her friends or wants them to fail completely. No, it's a weird mix of like warmth, but also rivalry. Like there is support on the surface, but underneath it, there's always this tension, this competitive edge. She wants her friend to be happy, but like not too happy, not happier than she is. Talk to the women in your lives, ask them about this, because it's fascinating and you'll be shocked at how much time women spend comparing themselves to other women. Like they have this constant ranking system going on in their mind. Like, oh, she's thinner than me, but I'm prettier than her. My relationship's gone on longer than hers, but her boyfriend proposed to her sooner than mine did. If another woman gets dumped by her boyfriend or like gets a divorce, it's going to be this mix of genuine concern and empathy, yes, but also something in her mind that's like, I'm ahead. I'm doing better than her. That's good. She's not going to say it out loud, but inside there's going to be this emotional satisfaction of like, at least it's not me that this is happening to. And the more perfect that the woman was before her fall from grace, the more gratifying it is for all of her friends. Like this woman, when she's describing the details of her friend, do you understand? It is not a coincidence that she mentioned that the friend was crying, saying, I'm prettier than this other girl. I'm prettier than her. Women expose themselves if you just listen. Like she confesses. The girl who just got dumped is obviously very pretty or thinks that she is. And so her friends are taking a distinct pride in her life falling apart because, she was the pretty one, but look, her life's not going well. Her boyfriend dumped her. This is very different from men because while guys might tease each other and give each other shit or even overtly compete with each other, it's much more rare to see this dynamic where there's this surface level support for your male friend, but like inside you're thrilled that he's really unhappy. Yeah, when you're playing golf, you're feeling competitive and you want a better score than your male friend. But if he's getting a divorce and his life just sounds miserable, at night, you're not lying in bed smiling to yourself thinking, yes, I'm doing better than him. You wanted to kick his butt when you're playing a sport, of course, but you don't want the guy's life to fail. Of course not. He's your friend. You feel sad thinking about it. There's a clean line for men as to what is actual competition. And I think that a lot of men, they take that clarity for granted, but hopefully from this video, you'll appreciate it a bit more. Because while it's normal for you, it's not what's present in a lot of female friendships. It's very complicated for them. Now, I can understand from watching this video how I may have given the impression that I think the male friendships are just wonderful and healthy and that female friendships are just irredeemably toxic. That's not true. It's not as simple as that. I'm mainly just trying to give some pushback to this feminist narrative that women are so emotionally superior and men are so dumb. I want to make men aware that this narrative of female superiority is just nonsense. Women have plenty of dark motives for doing what they do. But so far, what I presented is not really the full picture, because in truth, there are some healthy reasons as well why women might seek information from their friends about whatever they're going through, motivations that are wholesome and completely understandable. And I want to spend the rest of the video talking about them. It's important to be aware of these so that you have a full picture of female psychology, the healthy stuff as well as the toxic. And there are some things here that men can learn from by and large. So if you'd like to keep watching this video, please come and join me on Patreon. That's where the video continues, and that's where I post the full-length versions of all of my videos. To celebrate my birthday month, I am offering a 37% discount for October. My Patreon has never been better value for money. If you're curious, please come check it out.